The first step in this process is going to be to do some analysis and communicate your results. Okay, you're going to analyze as outlined. You're going to solve the systems of equations. You're going to find your quadratic function. And then you're going to professionally communicate that information. Okay? We are imagining that we are part of a project team designing water handling capabilities on a space trip to Mars. Okay? So their lives depending on this and so forth. Now, everything we do is going to have the goal of feeding into a process that helps this mission be successful. Okay, so what you're going to have to do first, and this is due in the next class, you're going to present a well-written, documented solution. Now the solution, the ultimate part of the solution is going to be your quadratic function. Okay? Well-written, documented solution, and I've got the word neat written down here, but we're going to first state the results succinctly in context. You're reporting this to a supervisor. Your supervisor, first thing your supervisor is going to want to see is, okay, what did they get? What's their function? Okay? Now, you want to state that result succinctly. You don't want to bury it in 17 paragraphs of fluff. You want to come right out and say, here's the function, okay? And here is the context for this function. Just to remind your supervisor, okay, here's what we're talking about. That means you're going to present the function briefly, and you're going to say, okay, this applies to this situation that we observed. You don't have to go into a lot of detail. Just refer to the situation, okay? In both the situations, your supervisor immediately, okay, yeah, this is the situation. Then, state the information you used. What information did you use to draw your conclusion? Your main conclusion being the function, and a little bit about what it might mean. We'll get to that part in a minute. Okay? What was the information you used? Then, how did you analyze the information? Okay? What did you do? Okay, did you throw this into a computer and accept the results? Did you work it out by hand? Did you use matrices? Did you use elimination? Did you solve the problems by substitution? What mathematical methods did you use in analyzing the information? Then, you don't want to provide all the details of every calculation, because there are quite a few details in those calculations. Okay? You just want to state how you analyze it. Here's what I use. Then you can include your whole sequence of calculations in an appendix. Now, when I say neat, normally, we're not going to do that here, but normally these first three things and the last one that I mentioned here is going to be presented in word processed form. Okay, some kind of a word processed document, maybe some spreadsheet. But it's going to not be handwritten. Well, I'm not going to ask you to do this. You can present this handwritten, but handwrite it and arrange it on the page neatly and use good handwriting, okay? So this part needs to be neat. Now, the sequence of calculations doesn't have to be as neat, but it should be legible. And reasonably organized. Don't spread irrelevant calculations around the page. Organize it so that your supervisor, if necessary, can say, something doesn't look right about that result. Let me look at the calculations and see if there's something that needs to be fixed. Okay? It should be easy for your supervisor to define what he or she wants. Okay? Now, and then explain what your final quadratic function means. You can even speculate a little bit here. Explain to the best of your knowledge what that means, what that tells us about the system that was being observed. System being a bottle with the water in it and the outflow tube. Okay? Try to communicate clearly and professionally.